What's up, everybody? Is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Wayne to my Garth. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
Partying on, man. How are you?
I'm not so bad. So, it's free comic book day. Did he give away a lot of comics?
I did. So this year was kind of weird because I feel like I always over order. So I kind of like cut back a little bit this year, and I still had like plenty left over, but I feel like I was in a good place because you never want to like run out, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I don't want to have 100 extra copies.
Now,
So
really quick, like when you order, because I know there's been times where like when we used to go to Charleston, if we didn't get there at the right time, they'd be out of all the good stuff, but it'd be like, oh yeah, we still have My Little Pony, a whole stack of those. Like when you order those, is it still like, do you just have to order all of them? Is it like, the free comic book day, just all of them, together? Or do you actually get to be like the good, I want more of the good ones than these ones that people don't want?
oh no, I totally get to choose.
Okay, that's good.
And like DC does it differently since they switched to lunar distribution because uh, they have you order like in bundles of like 20 or 25. So uh, there was a big mishap last year, if you remember, where I thought I was getting like 8 packs, and really I was getting like 200 packs because of a glitch in the
Yeah.
system. But this year was fine. The I It's weird because I complain because Marvel and DC, their free comic book day stuff is usually just like a preview for an upcoming event.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. But this year, Marvel, they did the Avengers X-Men Eternals one, and then they did the Spider-Man Venom. Both had a first appearance in it.
Oh wow.
The Axe one was the first appearance of Blade's daughter, and then the Venom one was like some new like spider. I don't know, like Venom's son like takes on a name or something like that. I don't know, but so initially my thought was, ugh, here we go. That's gonna be gone in an hour, and then I'm gonna have to hear about it the rest of the day. It wasn't too bad because obviously I order way more Marvel and DC than I do the others.
Yeah.
But like the days leading up, I had a few people that were like, yo, can you hold me like 20 copies? I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not going to do that.
But they're free.
Dude, I mean, every year I get people that think that it's free for me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's why we encourage you to please buy something.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great day. The artists were awesome. Like they were making money. We were making money. I got 2 really awesome commissions. I had, so Joe Wills, who did that static blank last year, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
I had him do a She-Ra for me this year, which was incredible. And then John Boren, I'm sorry, there's no D in his last name. John Boren I had him do Moss for my T Crowd last year. And this year I had him do Jerry Seinfeld, and it was out of this world. It was like so good.
Nice.
So yeah, it was, and I'm Brian's art rep, so I was like, I'm not gonna add any more to your plate. He's got a lot coming up, but no, it was a really good day. It was like all hands were on deck, which was cool. I felt like, I mean, most of the time, most of my crew shows up, but this time, like everybody was there, and it was cool. So
nice, man. I'll say this: next year I'll be there. You can put me down.
Heard it here first, folks.
We'll do a live Two Worlds podcast if you can bring 200 of your closest friends.
200 of your closest friends. Oh man. That's awesome. But anyway, thanks for asking.
Yeah, man, of course. Well, you want to get into the old news?
I do. Looks like you have a good bit more than me because I've been kind of busy. I guess I should say the reason we had a Casey cast last week, I was not doing the sexy Comic HQ calendar, although I've had several people ask about it at this point because of that.
You're gonna do one now, right?
You bet. It's funny because a friend of the pod and myself, Dan, who listens every episode, God bless you, Dan. He said that he wanted to be a part of it, and he's in the 501st, which is the Star Wars cosplay like Legion.
Mm-hmm.
I told him if he did a stormtrooper helmet and a banana hammock only, that he could be in it. So
nice.
But anyway, I was moving this last week, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can still see a couple boxes. I've still got a lot of unpacking to do, but we're almost there. So it's good to be back into the flow.
How do you like the new place?
I like the new place a lot. It's nice. The neighborhood's nice. We got more space, so it's good.
So you can get a dog finally, right?
Oh, dude, I don't even want to think about it. I want to, yeah, but anyway, go ahead, man.
All right, man. So Apple allegedly is eyeing Wyatt Russell for an exciting role in the MonsterVerse show. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's related to Kurt Russell. I'm pretty sure he's his son. So that's cool. He's got the beard for, Kurt Russell. So, like, it makes sense that they'd be related. And I don't think I've ever seen him in anything. So maybe it'll be cool. I don't have much more to say about him than that.
Oh, he was John Walker in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay. I still haven't seen that though.
No, he was great. That's exciting.
Right on. And then let's piggyback on that. There's a new kaiju TV show in the works. It's called Project Nemesis. It's based off the novel series by Jeremy Robinson, which I really want to read, but it's like I don't want to buy the books. So it's like one of those things where it's like I'm waiting to buy a Kindle so that I can buy those digitally, because it's like I don't have enough room for a bunch of hardback books. So I just haven't read it, but it's going to be helmed by the John Wick director, Chad Stahelski. Or Helitsky or whatever too. That sounds pretty neat. Like I said, it's one of those ones where I've wanted to read for a while, and maybe one of these days. Maybe I'll just wait for the TV show.
That can be your gateway to get back into novels.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still read a little bit, just more comics than the other.
I mean, I know you read. I just haven't heard you talk about any novels you've read in a while.
Well, the Scottie Pippen book was the last book I read front to back. I started reading that one about the Korean dictator, that kidnapped those people, but it's just like there's so many names. And it's not like they're Korean names, and I get confused easily, so it's not the best reading experience for me.
Yeah, you want to go through a pronunciation guide for all of them?
Oof, no.
Okay, let's see here. This was from last week, but I'll go ahead and say it anyway. The Mario movie has been delayed to April 7th of 2023, and Shigeru Miyamoto says that it will be worth the wait. So if you're looking forward to that later this year, then sorry about your luck.
Are you disappointed? Or are you just like, oh, it's still gonna be really good, so I don't care?
I don't care because there's so much content being thrown at our faces, and I'm not caught up on the stuff that I want to see already. So it's like, if I gotta wait, another year, who cares? Because I've got plenty to watch until then.
Right on, man. Yeah. Okay, so this is just hilarious to me. Like, I cracked up. So Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, for all of you that are Yu-Gi-Oh players out there, they're gonna start penalizing players for being too smelly, because apparently it smells too terrible in the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament stuff. They're just like, no, you guys got to put deodorant on. You got to shower. This is terrible.
That's honestly hilarious.
It's like, how bad does it have to be that they're now going, You lose because you smell bad. I don't care that you had 3 blue eyes white dragons out there,
Can you imagine being the guy that gets to dictate that?
right? The fedoras will just have to be like flipping out of how mad they get, you know?
And just the tables themselves, right?
Yeah.
There's that famous gif of that bigger guy just throwing that table. So funny. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're getting a new Doctor Who. That was announced a few days ago. I'm not familiar with the actor. His name is Shuti Gatwa. Are you familiar at all?
No, but I'll be honest, I've not been familiar with a single doctor until after they played the doctor. Then I'm like, oh, I like this person, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. But it's one of those things too where for the most part, I think like any actor can really play the doctor. It's just kind of like it really kind of hinges on how they're written at the end of the day. Because it's like Moffat, for all of his faults, he still wrote a good doctor. It's just all of his plots sucked. So
Yeah.
whoever's show running now, if they do a good job with it, it should be fine. Because I heard the last doctor, she was supposed to be pretty good. It's just her stories sucked, I guess. Like if like you were a long time, and by long time I mean since Eccleston Doctor Who fan, you'd be really mad. Because like my buddy Josh, he was complaining about it. He's like, she's great, but the stories, it's just like it's continuity wise, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, the stories are why I stopped watching what Peter Capaldi. So
Yeah, I mean, I was fed up with it by by the end, like by Matt Smith's, and I was like, I'm here just for Matt, and I'm not gonna get invested in a new doctor because I just hate it.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, see, and that's the thing. I know you're not super big on Russell Davies taking back over, but at this point, it's like I do miss being a fan of that. So it's
Yeah,
like maybe I'll give it a shot.
like you say that now, but you also were just like, there is too much content.
That's why I said maybe a couple times.
I mean, it'll be nice to have on at the shop, right? You could just, because that's like that's a safe enough one too, where you're like, it's still just it's Doctor Who.
I don't ever get to watch anything though.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It could be on,
Yeah.
certainly, but
All right, so we got another look at Portman's Thor because they're like, let's show you guys everything, and and also Hemsworth's Thor costume. I mean, I know you weren't a huge fan of the one picture, like in the trailer, but I still think it looks pretty good as far as like off of the comic book stuff. Hemsworth's costume I think looks fine, but it's like they're going off of like this kind of more comic booky costume, but they're trying to make it like safer for a movie, like they've kind of toned it down versus what it should be. And that's like my only real knock on the costume. I like both of them though. What do you think as the Thor aficionado?
well, I think Thor's looks really cool. Like it's totally an 80s looking, the cut off vest.
Yeah.
He looks awesome. Jane looks fine. I just think that the helmet like fits weird or something, and maybe it'll look better in the finished product. But I don't know. Like, so I saw Doctor Strange 2 today, and the Thor trailer played, so I got to watch it again. And God, I'm gonna hate it so much.
I know you are.
Dude. Like the whole where he's like trying to find himself, and he doesn't want to fight, and he doesn't want to be a superhero. I'm like, what the is this? Yes, he does want to fight. He always wants to fight. It's like what they did with Hulk in Endgame, where he's like, I'm too scared to fight Thanos. It's like,
Yeah.
yourself, Marvel. Like, no.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can do with Thor not wanting to fight, though. I can see that actually being an interesting story. I'm not going to say Taika Waititi could do it, but if they did it in the comic books, I could be like, yeah, this would be a fun arc. This would be an interesting arc, an interesting take.
Arc, yes. But how Marvel would do it now is that they'd let Jason Aaron write him not wanting to fight for 6 years before we got anything different.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do just like, I don't know, 6 issues on this of like Thor trying to solve issues differently and all that stuff. I think it could be really interesting, but I'm not gonna say gonna work in this movie. I like Taika Waititi, but I don't know.
Here's another thing that rubs me the wrong way about this. There's a scene in the trailer that is taken exactly from one panel
I know you're talking. Yeah.
that Assad Ribic did. He's not getting any credit for that.
Nope.
I don't even know if he's going to get a special thanks at the very end of the credits for that.
He probably will, but that's it.
But it bugs me because everything he draws is an absolute masterpiece, and he deserves more than what he's going to get for it.
That can be said though with every single Marvel movie. Like these movies are making billions of dollars, and the people that the stories are inspired by, they might get a special thanks. They might get a little bit of money, but unless you're Jim Starlin and you're complaining a whole bunch about it, which rightfully so, you're not gonna get anything from it.
I agree. This one just hits a little closer to home than some of the others. Did you hear about Starlin and like his DC stuff?
What about it?
I guess so. I think it was in Batman versus Superman. They named a character.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Anatoly, whatever, after KG Beast. He got more money for them naming that character that than he made from all of his Marvel contributions combined.
Originally. But he's like, I complained about it enough online that then they went back and gave me more money. He's like, I guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease every once in a while. So I'm like, good.
Good for him. But the fact that it had to come to that, it just blows my mind.
Yeah. That's 100% why you're seeing, creators go to it. Like more people do image work versus Marvel and DC. It's like, I get starting in Marvel and DC, but as soon as you get a name, go to image, make your bag,
I know, and that's what's sad, because like we're probably never ever gonna get a Brubaker at the big two again, or Brian K. Vaughan, or Rick Remender. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk about this too. We got a Paper Girls teaser. Did you watch it?
No.
Okay. Well, it actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's literally just a teaser. It's just their faces, and it's like says different lines from the comic. And they did a great job casting the girls, at least as far as the looks go, because they all look pulled from the page, which is awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, because you read most of that comic. You didn't read the whole thing, right?
I did read the whole thing.
Oh, you did? Okay. So yeah, you should check it out. I think you'd be like, you'd agree. You're like, wow, they do look the part for sure. But that's all you can really get from it.
Right. I mean, I totally plan on watching it when it comes out.
Yeah. That's a Prime exclusive, by the way.
Good thing I got that Prime.
Yeah. I mean, you got all of them, don't you? You're about to that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll save the worst for last. So we got a Fire and Blood trailer this week. That is the Game of Thrones spinoff about the Targaryens bringing the dragons to Westeros. I talked a little bit about this last week whenever I was saying Matt Smith is not a good hunky dragon lord.
The week before last week.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what I said. It looks really cool.
I've seen the trailer because it's been advertised a lot, and I will agree with you though. Like Matt Smith looks like Geralt's nerdy cousin.
I know, right? It's so like, weird.
Like it's weird. He still looks kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's still like Geralt was like, oh god, Mike, I don't know what his character's name is. He's here, and it's like, oh hey man, you want to go slay some dragons or whatever he's gonna do? And
they ride the dragons.
You want to go ride some dragons? Or it's like, I'm gonna kill some witches. I don't play with dragons, bud. But thanks.
Yeah. I know, but then like at least they put him in some cool armor, and everyone else looks cool. I'm very, very excited for this. So hopefully it's good.
I hope so, man. All right. And speaking of things that probably, in my opinion, won't be good, but will be beloved by everyone else. Viola Davis is set to start in a Peacemaker spinoff series. I don't know if it's going to be, Waller, just called Waller or what, but it's going to be,
What? This is actually happening?
that's what I've heard.
Okay.
I mean, so like I said, I don't know if it's just Amanda Waller or if it's going to be a new Peacemaker, spinoff series where she's doing stuff.
Do you I haven't seen it yet. I do want to. Is she in his show?
I think so. Like, I've not watched it. Like I said, I have no interest. So
okay. Let's see here. Oh, I've just got the one more.
all right. So when we do the comic book news and we get in on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Christos Gage and Todd Knock are gonna return together to finish Gwen Stacy with like one big issue. So that's pretty exciting because I know Todd loved that series, loved drawing it. So good for them. You think that's gonna sell well at the shop? Did the Gwen Stacy book sell very well? Because
I mean, the first issue did, it did fine. It'll be at best what I would say mid-tier for the shop, because really nobody's asking for this.
Yeah,
no one's like, what I want to read of 5 or 6 issues about? Plain old Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones where I never got, because it's just like, oh yeah, you want to hear all about what Gwen Stacy did before she died? That don't include Spider-Man? No? Well, you're gonna.
I know, right? So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's like, you get Spider-Gwen. Everybody loves Spider-Gwen. Just stick with that, because we don't have one of those right now.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're also getting a Sword of Azrael 6-issue miniseries coming out in August by Dan Waters. And this is going to be rough. I apologize ahead of time. Nicola Sesmesia on the art. Give me a rating 1 out of 10 on how I pronounce Nicola's name.
I mean, honestly, dude, for you, that was like a solid 7.5.
Nice. So are you really excited about this?
I am crazy excited for this, dude. How much I loved Arkham City, Order of the World. Dan wrote that. Azrael was a part of that. He was very, very interesting in that series. I can't wait for this.
I figured you would, and you've always loved Azrael since you've started reading comics as soon as you saw him. So I was like, this is gonna be something special for Jake, I think.
Yeah, for sure. What about you? Would you check this out?
I might check it out. Because I had 2 Azrael toys growing up, so I've always had a spot for him in my heart.
The big old triangle arm blades.
One was like a weird posed one that you really couldn't do. That one was mine. The weird posed one was like when he was the first Batman, like when he was like the blue, and he's like this. It's like, what are you gonna do with that? Right. And then the other one was my brother's, but I still play with it all the time. It was the red one where he had the gauntlets, and that was how his hand was. So it's just like you could do a claw, and his arms were always out like this. So you could do a clawing motion.
His signature pose.
Or he could grab their heads. That's what I would always have him do. He just got him.
Right. That's cool. Well, hopefully it's good. I have very high hopes for this.
I hope he does one of his 2 poses from my childhood.
I hope he does both. He does that and then grabs their head.
Yeah.
All right, let's end on the bummer. So we all found out Saturday on Free Comic Book Day, but apparently it happened on Friday from what I heard. But George Perez has passed away. We all knew it was coming, but it finally happened. It doesn't make it suck any less, that's for sure. Especially so soon after Neil Adams, man.
It's right.
Dude, But you know, we have gushed about George on this show just casually. Like, what else can we say that we haven't already said 100 times on this show? He's absolutely legendary. He has given us some of our favorite characters, some of our favorite comic book runs, yes, some of my favorite covers of all time. I'm sure Casey can say the same.
And here's one thing we didn't mention, and I didn't know about it until after he passed away. But him and Marv were both in Teen Titans Go twice.
That's so awesome. Do you know what it was?
They were themselves,
Oh,
and Beast Boy and Cyborg loved them, and then like the other guys were like, "What? Who are they?" You know, then they have to explain like, "Oh, we created you," and they're like, "No, you didn't." And then like they would then like make them say different stuff and like all this, you know. And they would then like made them like revert back to like their original costumes that, you know, they put them in and stuff. And yeah, it was actually pretty funny.
that's awesome. So yeah, big bummer, but obviously we had to save that for last because comics just truly aren't going to be the same without him.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. It's like he was an amazing artist, but it's one of those things where it's like he was a better person because like you can tell that when people talk about him, it's not always just, oh yeah, his art was good. Like you look at the tweets, it's just like everyone's like he was the best person.
Yeah. And
So
you and I both were lucky enough to get to meet him, and for those couple times, both interactions were amazing.
yeah,
He was happy the whole time.
yeah.
All right. That is it for the news. So now we'll take our ad break and then we'll come back and talk some comics. So we'll be right back. Okay, dude. So unless you've had a topic, did you?
I had something I wanted to ask you about, but that's about
Okay.
it.
Okay. Well, I'll still let you ask it. I
Okay.
also just wanted to give a very like spoiler free my thoughts on Doctor Strange too.
All right.
Um, I will be so bold as to say that it might be my new favorite Marvel movie.
Wow. Because I've heard mixed things
Yeah.
from people online.
Yep. And I want to save you from this because I talked to a friend after I saw the movie and he didn't like it. And a part of that was because he thought it was going to be 2 hours of Doctor Strange jumping through multiverses and seeing 1,000 cameos. You're not going to get that.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, I know the big cameos. I'll say that. I know Bruce Campbell's in
He is.
it. I saw a funny thing. It was an interview with Sam Raimi when he was like, the Associated Press asked him like, so what's it like getting Bruce Campbell to, you know, be in your movies? He's like, oh, I just call him up. I'm like, hey baby, and he's like, what is it now? And he's like, I'm doing a movie. It's like, when does it start?
He says that like he doesn't
Yeah,
adore being in those movies. Um, but yeah, I loved it a lot, man. It really it isn't like any other Marvel movie. And that, that's what we always say is all these are cookie cutter. And there might be one or two elements that are like that, but otherwise, this is just a Sam Raimi movie that happens to use some Marvel characters.
nice. Because yeah, I mean, even Sam was saying in an interview, he's like, oh, like this is still a Marvel movie. Like that's what he was saying. He's like, they weren't letting me get away with as much stuff as as I would have wanted. So
Yeah, but I feel like they let him get away with more than some of these other movies would
yeah,
have. Man, it's just they really laid into sort of that horror element for a lot of it, and it was awesome. And I say all the time I don't like horror movies, but this was like, that supernatural magic sort of thing, which I very much am into.
mhm.
So yeah, I loved it. I had like less than a handful of some minor gripes, but I'm gonna get that with any of these. But for like a current Marvel movie, I mean, this was, if we're doing our tier list, it's an A for sure.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully
So,
gonna check out this weekend because chance of rain. So
right.
gonna try for that.
Yeah, I hope you like it. You may not like it as much as I did, but I hope that you at least are like, yeah, I had a good time with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Okay, so my question for you: were you pro gamer 2 weekends ago? Because I saw saw some stuff on the social medias.
I was the hype man at a gamer event.
Oh, nice.
I went to the Halo Championship Series in Kansas City with my good pal Callan, who Casey is also familiar with.
Not friends with.
I know. I wanted to get your reaction.
It's like they know of each other.
Yeah. But one of my buddies, PJ, his gamer tag is Snakebite. He plays for the Sentinels team. I went there to finally meet him in person after a very long time, and some other people in the community, and cheer them on, and they ended up winning. So
nice.
It was unreal. It was my first Halo LAN event, and man, it was just incredible. Like I hope I get to do it again one of these days.
All right, so I have a Halo related question for you. Is like, because you're the best Halo player I know.
Oh, thanks, man.
So like how much better are they than you? Like, I mean, tier wise, are you like like college and freshman like at basketball, and like they're like NBA season pros, or
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with basketball, where the worst guy is closer to Michael than you are to him. It's the same thing, man.
I got
because so there's like the top like 8 teams are already guaranteed for pool play. There's like A, B, C, and D pools. And then there's the open bracket. And like 4 teams from the open bracket, 1 will join each pool.
Okay.
And they just get fucking destroyed, right? Because you made it there, but now you got to play the best. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm a pretty good Halo player until you go watch all the best in the whole world, because it's international play, and you're like, I'm not good. I'm not good at all.
that's like how I feel anytime I play, like, or I watch anyone, like any pro gamer play a game that I like.
Yeah.
Like you watch people play Smash, I'm like, oh, this is what a good player looks like. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, that is a perfect example. I've thought the same. Like I get a lot of TikToks, in the old algorithm that are Smash related, and it's like I wouldn't even be able to hit this guy.
Yeah.
And that's how it is here too. But it's fun. Like one of the most fun parts was watching the open bracket, all the amateur teams, because if they win, they stand up and they're shouting across the table like "sit the fuck down" and stuff like that. And then they make it to the bracket and just get annihilated.
Yeah.
So but it was fun. Tons of fun. Had a great time. Man. The Kansas City was cool. I'd never been there before. Had some really good food.
Did you make Callan listen to Two Worlds podcast the whole way up and back?
He tried to say something and I'd be like, no, listen.
This part's really good.
And it's just us butchering names.
Yeah. We're like and Lay.
Oh man. It was only a 4-hour drive too, which isn't like the worst.
Now, after doing that drive, are you going to be like, oh, I can go see Jason Aaron? Because isn't he always in there? Always, over in Kansas City.
I think he lives there, but
I mean, you can go to his house.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just show up because I totally know where he lives. Okay, Jason, me again. Just seeing if you're home today.
And he's like, his wife's about to go outside. Like, no, don't you go there. You can't over here.
Oh man, he's funny too, because at cons he's not like, I'm not saying he's not a nice guy. He's just not super approachable because
Yeah.
he doesn't look like he wants you to come up and talk to him. But whenever I got some books signed, I was wearing a Blue Beetle t-shirt. And he's like, I like your shirt. I'm like, oh, thanks, Jason. He finally like said something, you know?
Yeah, he seems like nice, but at the same time, just probably tired of people.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. So yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, man. I was like curious. I was like, because I wasn't sure if you were actually playing. Because like I said, to me, you're Michael Jordan, man.
Oh, that is premium gas right there.
So I was like, is he that good? Like, I mean, is he going full on pro? Where does he find the time? He has a business. I didn't know what you were doing.
Oh, dude, I would have told you. I would have been like,
yeah,
come cheer me on when I get destroyed by these other people.
I'd beat them up afterwards. You don't do that to my friend. Don't make him look stupid.
All right, folks, welcome back. I saw Doctor Strange today, so if you would like to hear me give a spoiler-free Jake's thoughts on that, then go check out our YouTube. That is Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. We also talk a little bit about Halo. So anyway, Casey, I guess I will be talking about comics.
Yeah. My comics came in today right around 5 o'clock. So believe it or not, I didn't get them read.
You didn't crunch after work in time for the show? Come on.
No, I mean, I could have since you were eating and stuff, but I was like, I'll enjoy these ones.
Look, some people want it, some people don't, folks.
I know. It's about drive. It's about power. I stay hungry. I devour.
Okay. So I read the Storyteller Shapeshifters #3, Twig #1, One Star Squadron #6, Task Force Z #7, Flashpoint Beyond #1, and Batman 123. So, Storyteller Shapeshifters #3. It's by Amelia Cilento. She does the art and the story. It's basically just a don't judge a book by its cover sort of story involving a shape-shifting fox lady, but it was really cool. The art is so nice, and it makes you feel like you're in the storyteller's house by his like fireplace listening to him read it to you. It's just, I really like this series. So yeah, I'm gonna give that a solid 8 out of 10. It was definitely one of the better ones that I've read from the series.
Yeah, the old fox thing, the shape-shifting fox thing, that's like very, very common in Japanese folklore.
It is. And then, it's the tale as old as time where a man and a shape-shifting fox lady fall in love.
Yeah. I mean, it happened in Lovecraft Country. Spoiler alert.
There you go. So, it happens.
I think she was Korean though, so it's like it's a little bit different.
So yeah, next we've got Twig #1, which is written by Scotty Young and drawn by Kyle Strom. And I like this a good bit. I got this because one of my helpers, Ethan, was like, hey, there's this book coming out in a while. And this was quite a while back. And he's like, I want it, so will you get it? And then I saw some like speculators talk about it and stuff. So I got a small chunk for the shop, and I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it. It's like just sort of a coming of age adventure type story and involving this little guy and his little like glowworm dog friend. And they're just trying to get this stone to the place that it needs to be. And this is spoiler alert. They're on their way to talk to the guy that's going to tell them where to take it. And they get there and he's dead. So looking forward to the next one. It's just like a weird fantasy setting with like monsters and all these little creatures and stuff, and the art's real good, and Scotty did a good job writing it. So
I'm pretty excited about that. I enjoy Scotty a good bit. I wish I would have read, I think it was Middle West when that was first starting up, but I was like, I'm gonna skip it. And then I look back, I'm like, I should have just read it. But so I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good time.
You'll have to let me know what you think of it once you read
it.
Okay. Next is One Star Squadron, and I will be very brief with this because I know Casey's looking forward to it. But it's written by Mark Russell and art is done by Steve Lieber. And I mean, it was honestly really, really good. It wrapped up so perfectly. And there is one thing that I want to talk about because it made me laugh harder than it should have. So there's a part where Red Tornado meets up with GI Robot. And are you familiar with like the restaurant? It's like in food courts called Orange Julius.
Yeah.
So there's a restaurant called Orange Romulus. It just really cracked me up that I don't know if it was Russell or Lieber, but
I'm betting it's Lieber because it's like probably the same thing as like the Chew jokes where Rob Guillory would just put random things in the background.
Right. Well, I was not expecting a Julius and Romulus joke in this, so really, really funny. Oh, and there's also there's two other like in passing funny business names. One is called Planet of the Vapes, and it's a vape store. There's a guy in a monkey costume flipping a sign outside. And then there's a coffee shop called Grounds for Termination. And dude, I mean, it just tickled me. It tickled me.
I love it.
So but yeah.
You still have the vape shop next door, right?
No, I haven't for a while.
Okay, you need to, if like I need to open Planet of the Vapes up, then that's just what needs to happen.
You do for sure. But yeah, I liked it. It had a really good ending. I'll be surprised if Casey doesn't love this, but I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. And honestly, the series as a whole, probably like a 9. I'm sure there were like a couple downs maybe, but overall, this is way more ups. And gosh, I will be picking up the next Mark Russell thing, which I think is that Superman Space Age book. So really, really good.
I'm gonna say this. I want to see what you think. I would love a Mark Russell like Justice League International, or like just a Mr. Miracle and Barda, like just that, his tone, the cellular tone, that stuff, would be really good.
Dude, like if they were gonna bring back JLI, he is definitely the one I would want to do that, because he likes writing these weird obscure characters. And
so does Tom King, dude.
Okay, well, one is good. But yeah, now that you say that, I would be totally on board for that. All right. So now we've got Task Force Z number 7. And I know it's written by Michael Rosenberg. Sorry, I just totally butchered. That's a different Michael.
Yep.
And also his name's Matthew, not Michael. So it's written by Matthew Rosenberg. Dude, when I tell you I've had a long week.
Long couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Very sorry, Matthew Rosenberg. It is written by Matthew Rosenberg, and the art is done by Jack Herbert and Daniel HDR. So yeah, I like this. I'm still liking this book quite a bit. Jason and Dent are just trying to like kind of save face at this point, and figure out who stole the Lazarus resin and how to get some back, because if they don't, then their team is gonna die again, and they won't have anything. So it's neat. We get some Solomon Grundy in this, some cool Mr. Bloom stuff. Where did you drop this book?
No, I got it. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, then
I'm gonna be read it.
there's another cool part with Bloom and Man Bat.
I'm still just like, what is going on with Bane? Like that's where my brain goes with this book.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. But I feel that way about like a lot of these people. But I mean,
at least none of them are showing up in another book fully non-zombified, you know?
right? Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, and also I want to show this cool variant cover.
Nice. See, that's the thing that they miss on Casey casts. They don't get any cool variant covers that I just get to show.
All right, next is Flashpoint Beyond, #1. It's written by Jeff Johns, Jeremy Adams, and Tim Sheridan, and art by Zermanico, and then 2 pages by Mikkel Haneen. So
I'm gonna say this right now. That's such a solid like lineup of creative team wise. If it's not at the very least good, I'm not gonna be shocked, because it's still Flashpoint headed up by Jeff Johns, but still I'll be like, dang, he brought them down big time.
So honestly, dude, I thought it was all right.
Nice.
I correct me if I'm wrong, you went all in on Flashpoint, or that was Blackest Night.
Blackest Night. I didn't go all in. I was very sporadic. So like I read the Deathstroke one, Frankenstein, Superman's, Batman, but I didn't read the Batman one, which I think I missed out on, because I guess that was pretty cool. But yeah, I miss random stuff. And I read the main series.
Okay. Well, so whenever Flashpoint was going on, I only picked up the Deathstroke spinoff. So obviously I had no idea what was happening. I'm just like, it's Deathstroke on a pirate ship. It's gonna be cool. And then later on, I read Flashpoint, but so I'm not familiar with like everything that happened, but I still liked this. Like, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are having their war, and Thomas Wayne is just like, I don't care. I just want to figure out what's going on with like Barry and Bruce and stuff. So Zermanico kills it on art. Like, there are some really cool fight scenes in this that I was just like, oh man, that is super awesome. Also, the Penguin is in this issue, and he's honestly hilarious. Like, I'm really looking forward to what you think about it, Casey. Yeah, and then there's like kind of a little twisty twist at the end. So, I mean, honestly, I thought this was a solid issue. I was thinking to myself after reading issue 0, I'm like, if #1 isn't good, I'm not going to read anymore. But I think there is enough here to keep me going at least for one more. So I'll give it a 7. It was all right, man. And then finally, we've got Batman 123, which is part 5 of the Shadow War. And it's written by Joshua Williamson, and art is done by Howard Porter. And I like this a whole lot. I think the art's cool. I know, Casey, you weren't real hot on the last issue, but I like it, and I think it's good this time too.
What'd you think of the art in Deathstroke?
Last week's issue?
Yeah.
Hang on, because I've got it right here, because the Shadow War stuff is the only stuff I read from last week so far. Oh yeah, no, this was awesome.
Yeah, see, I wasn't a fan of that one either. But like I remember when I was like doing the podcast, I'm like, I bet Jake liked this art.
Yeah, no, I totally did. Um, but yeah, this is cool.
I
There's
I
go
do
ahead.
like, sorry, I'm not even the one that read it, but I do like the fact that like at least since like outside like Robin, all of the art's kind of the same for
Mhm.
this. You know, like it's all like similar, and even Robin's is still like similar enough that's not like it's not jarring. It's not like going like, you know, John Romita Jr. to, you know, Jay Lee.
Right. No, I agree. They definitely have similar enough styles. Um, there's one interesting part, and this is only a mild spoiler, but I guess Ghostmaker is now the leader of Batman Inc.
Yeah.
And he recruited Clown Hunter. So Clown Hunter's in here with a new costume, and there's a little box that says, to see how Ghostmaker became the leader of Batman Inc., read the annual. It's coming out at the end of May. So I'm like, well, I am definitely interested in that. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not crazy hot on Clown Hunter's new costume. I kind of liked his original look, but you know, it is what it is.
I'm still not super hot on Ghostmaker being the one training Clown Hunter. I still think it should have been old Jason.
Yeah, no, I agree with you for sure. But you know, I guess this is their way of keeping him relevant or whatever.
It's just Tynan going, I want my babies together.
I know, but he's not even a part of this
I
anymore.
know.
Um, yeah, there's one like I know you're not gonna be able to read the bubbles, but I think that art is just so cool. Like I love the coat over the
That
Deathstroke
that
costume.
does look really, really cool. It's just more of like that type of pose is cool, but like I don't know. There's times where it just looks too sharp and sloppy to me.
Right. Well, either way, we get some good stuff with Batman Inc. and then Slade and his kids and ninjas with guns, and then there's like a real big twist at the end. And then the backup story is also it's a Deathstroke story about a time he gets injected with Joker toxin. And I'm not crazy on the art, but it's still like a pretty neat just little backup story. It's better than a lot that we get. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really liked, you know, even the backup story. Like all of it was good. I think Casey will like it too, and it'll be one of those things where he's like, I'm not mad about spending $4.99 on it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I read.
Right on, man. What are you excited for next week then?
I am excited for. So two of these are going to be Conan related.
Ooh.
I'm excited for Sumerian Hour of the Dragon #3, and then there's going to be a I don't know how you say this, Belit, and Valyria book, which is also put out by the Sumerian company or publisher that does that. So we're going to get to see two BA ladies in that style as well. And I'm looking forward to that. And then I have to say the Banner of War Alpha, that like, it's gotta be so much fun.
Yeah. All right. For me, I'm gonna go with the Jurassic League because that's so stupid and I'm just so excited. And then the Farmhand, the new one of those is coming out. And what's another one? I'm not excited for Shang-Chi. I know that much. Oh, are you gonna check out Moon Knight?
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be an easy honorable mention.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up what I sent my text to you because that way I know. Oh, Jenny Zero, duh.
I figured you'd choose that. I also could have said Batgirls as well. Like there's
Yeah.
actually a good handful of fun stuff coming out. So
Well, it is Fantastic Four time, man. So people were talking on Twitter about the new 52 DC costume redesigns, and I was thinking to myself, like, there's a lot of bad, and I was like, but there was good too. But then when I was thinking about all the good ones, I was like, I'm having more trouble coming up with like really good ones and not good ones. So I was just thinking, what's let's hear your favorites and your least favorites and whatnot.
What would you like to start with?
Start with worst, and we'll then go to best, and then we'll debate, I guess, because I'm looking at yours and there's one I disagree with on the best.
Okay. So my worst is going to be Red Robin first, because I think it's an okay costume. I just loved the pre-New 52 Red Robin series so much, and that look, that whenever they changed it, I was just real not happy about it. I'm also going to say Batman. I just didn't really care for like the bat design and how the belt looked, and I think they did like some weird yellow outlines. You disagree with that one?
100% on that one, man.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I don't hate it. It's just out of like all the bigger redesigns, wasn't a fan. Easily, maybe the worst one was the one for Hal Jordan.
You're talking Homeless Hal, right?
Yeah, like that
Okay.
Outlaw series that they did.
Yeah.
He was just in like a coat and just kind of let himself go, and just none of it looked good, in my opinion. And then the Joker, that was after he got his face cut off, and so anytime we saw him, he had his face skin just stretched out covering the wound, and I don't know, it was just like too edgy.
Yeah, that one like I thought was okay, but it overstayed its welcome. If that, like, it was like, oh yeah, this is creepy and cool, then I'm like, oh, we're still doing this for 50 issues, okay.
Yeah.
But then I didn't like the other Scott Snyder Joker, where it was like had the douchebag haircut,
Right.
the Macklemore.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your best, your faves then, man?
Why don't you go through your worst?
Okay, so my worst, Steel. So, like, first off, in my opinion, Steel has one of the coolest dang costumes. There's no real like making it better. So then there's like, well, guess what, guys? We're gonna make it 1,000 times worse. And they did a good job at that, because holy crap, it was terrible.
Didn't they just make it kind of like cyborgs?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, black dude with pieces of metal all over him. Okay.
Yeah.
Then Jay Garrick's got such like a cool timeless costume, and then they were like, let's make him look like he's wearing a speed suit and a weird speed skater helmet. It's like, I love Jim Lee, but that was a terrible design. Lobo, that one just kind of goes without. Yeah, that one's like, it's the Twilight Lobo. It was just such a terrible design. Like, Kenneth, you're amazing, but what were you thinking? And then Raven. So like, I wanted to say Superboy, because like Superboy always has cool costumes, but I was like, then I remembered how bad Raven looked, and it's just like, why? Like that whole Teen Titans run, they either had like banger of costumes or just terrible costumes. It was like there was no in between. There was no one that you're like, this is okay. It's like, no, this is just hot garbage or good. It's weird.
So with Ravens, I agree, because I think her other costume is way better. I think that like if this Raven costume were just put into like a random dark fantasy series, it'd be like, oh, that's a cool looking character.
Yeah,
it's just not great for Raven. It really. Have you seen the extended Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, like a long time ago.
Do you remember the Mouth of Sauron?
No.
Okay. Google Mouth of Sauron and you'll be like, oh, that's where they got this Raven design from. Because every time I see that Raven, I'm like, oh, it's just like him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that guy now. Yep.
Yeah.
It also gives me the Batman Who Laughs vibes too.
Yeah, I could see that.
What about your best then, man?
My bests, and there aren't Wait a second. I meant to put, oh, yeah, I made a mistake. Hawkman was supposed to be in worst because I really, really didn't like what they did with him in that. So
I didn't know.
honorable mention was
I didn't know you didn't
Hawkman.
like his costume though.
Yeah, because it was just like big and I don't know. It was bulky, but not in a good way.
Okay.
It was just like big clunky armor.
Yeah.
And then when they changed creative teams for the third time and let Liefeld take over, it got way worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually did 5 worst and 3 best, so might be. But there weren't any except for one of these that I was like overly this is good. So I'll say like Wonder Woman. Like they've tried to do stuff over the years, like the biker jacket and stuff like that. But this one, they just kind of gave her sleeves. And I was like, okay, like for a change, this still looks good.
Yeah. Same with like Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is not on my
Yeah.
best list, but it's like they did very little, but it still looks awesome.
Yeah. And then like Superman, like I know Casey, you're a big fan of the red undies over the tights, but like if they're going to do it, I think what they did is like acceptable. And then the one that I feel the most strongly about, and this came a little bit later in the New 52, but Aquaman, because they kind of did away with like the orange and the green, and they kind of gave him like armor and made him look more like a warrior. And I thought that was just a better look for him.
What about what's your opinion on the Nightwings?
Oh yeah, I could put that in best. I mean, I prefer the blue like all day,
Yeah.
but the black and red was cool.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did, yeah. And it kind of sucked though, because Higgins wanted to put the finger, have the finger stuff on it on the whole time. And like they never let him. DC never did. But then as soon as he was off, the next guy got the finger stripes.
Yeah.
Okay, but my best are Batman, because that is the best. That one was the best. It took like, we got rid of the undies, which that one it works without without Batman, unlike Superman. You Philistine. And then Red Robin, which I get what you were saying. Like we talked about this off air. I think it just works really well as a Tim Drake Red Robin thing. I don't think Tim ever worked very well, even though that series was good as the regular Red Robin costume. I think him, giving him something to differentiate works really well for him. And then Harley Quinn, she just like that's become like pretty iconic costume, and it looks pretty cool. And
the Derby girl.
Yeah. And then Deathstroke, because it's just like, oh yeah, you've made this character that, honestly, I love his old costume, but it's like old school Captain America, where you're like, it's kind of lame when you look at it. Like it don't work, like it works very well in comics, but you're also like, those are pirate boots, bud. And they made it just so much cooler. So I'm all about that.
Right. Also, another honorable mention for worse is whenever, I mean, this is just for character in general, but when they did away with Nightwing and went Grayson.
Oh yeah,
that costume was so stupid, but the whole idea was so.
But and for honorable mention of something that was just good, because I don't really know. Oh yeah, he looks exactly the same. Is Frankenstein.
Yeah,
that was such a fun time.
Oh, okay, I got another for best. I'm gonna say Etrigan.
Because
when they did Demon Knights and gave him that armor, I was like, oh yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Speaking of Etrigan, have you read Catwoman Lonely City yet?
No.
Okay. Well, spoiler alert, you might get to see some Etrigan in there, maybe. Just a tinge.
Excellent. I like to hear that. All right. Guess that's the end of the whole episode, huh?
I think so, man.
All right, closing plugs. If you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast. Give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter. That is at 2_worlds_PC. and on Instagram at Two Worlds Pod. You can email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. That is Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
Leave us a comment. Tell us your favorite, the New 52 designs and your least favorite. Tell Jake he's wrong about Superman and Batman too.
Okay.
And also, Jake, you just want to toss it out here Thursday, Anime Boys?
For release?
Yeah,
let's do it.
all right. So, and then keep an eye open for Thursday, guys. And yeah, we'd love to stay in chat, but we got a party on.
Bye, guys.